mixtapes.
The classic mixtapes.
Doing the mixtape thing.
Let me drop a mixtape.
Oh, mixtape.
The mixtapes.
This is the Art Behind the Tape podcast. Hosted by
This
DJ Mars and Bril Ndiaye, covering the spectrum of the mixtape culture.
Yo, party people, it's the DJ Mars. I'm sitting here with my co-pilot, my partner in crime.
Bril Ndiaye right here holding it down for the Art Behind the Tape podcast. What's up?
Yeah, man. So listen, another great day, another great opportunity to talk mixtape history, mixtape science, mixtape purchases, mixtapes, bags and books and all of that. I'm sitting right beside my man. We didn't graduate. Clearly, we didn't graduate the same year.
Right.
But
Nah.
so can I call you my classmate?
Schoolmate.
Schoolmate, there we go. Okay, let's get it
Schoolmate.
right. my schoolmate, my homeboy, my compadre, my man DJ Sense.
Hey, what's up, y'all, man?
Trendsetter.
Yeah.
My brothers.
We gonna get that going. So first of all, I want to say thank you for coming and rocking with us. Art Behind the Tape podcast. We had a little conversation before the camera started to roll. History, man.
Yeah.
History.
Yeah.
Like, we got a lot of history. You come from, obviously, Philadelphia. The history of DJ culture in Philadelphia, even before we get to the mixtapes, is Jazzy. So we're going to start with the God.
Yeah, of course.
Jazzy Jeff.
Jordan. That's the Jordan.
Yeah. Tap Money.
Yep.
Cosmic Kev.
Yep.
DJ Active.
My man.
Victor Duplay.
Okay.
Rich Medina.
My guy.
And then the three light-skinned guys.
Right.
you
you
how are you born? Like, I know we don't have a choice of where we're born, but you were born into a city of gods. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what's funny, when you growing up in Philly, and I was, when you mentioned Cosmic Kev, and I used to listen to Cosmic Kev and DJ Ran and Kobe Cole. Like, that's how I kind of like got into it, listening to Radioactive when I was a young boy. And so like you thought it was a normal thing that everybody was just so nice on the radio like that. The way they was just cutting, the way the transitions from the different records, everything, it was just like so high end. So that was kind of like the standard
bar.
So if you like wanted to like, even put yourself in position to be a competitive DJ, like you couldn't even, like, if you can't compete in that standard, it wasn't no point. So it's like you already was like ingrained into like that high level of DJing.
Did you
mention Cash Money?
No, how I forget Cash Money? How I forget Cash Money?
Yeah.
Like, that's like, honestly, all right, that's one of the highest levels that you could be involved in, right? So if you're talking, let's talk hip hop, 85 to 90, right? So I picked that period for a very specific reason.
Okay.
So you have Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, right?
Cool
then
C.
You have Cool C. Then you got Steady B.
Cool C, 3 times dope.
3 times dope. You got Cash Money and Marvelous. Like some of the DJs associated with those groups are some of the best to ever do it.
Facts.
Tap Money.
Facts.
I told Tap Money, he taught me how to cut from listening to the cuts from the Giddy Up by 3 times dope. Like, he did those cuts. So you come from an era of
West Philly.
Yes. You come from an era of DJs that literally helped pave the way. And it's not New York City. We know what New York did, but Philly is top dog.
Yeah, Philly kind of, it had its own. It's its own style. Like, it is East Coast. It does have some relative like comparisons to New York, but Philly, they got their own style, man. It's like it's a lot of flyness. It's I can't even explain it. It's like all the cultures of hip hop, like even the way you dress, the graffiti style, because like just coming up as a little boy, like my cousins, that's what they did. They used to tag. They was some street dudes, so they just did everything, and they taught me to break dance, and they taught me the whole culture of it. But my whole point of what I'm saying is, it's like it's New York, but it's his own thing.
It's like, his own vibe.
And that evolution of hip hop in the 80s, and I was a little kid, man. So I was just like looking at my older cousins and stuff and watching what they was doing. And then like listening to the radio and listening to like I said, Radioactive, that really was, like that's what inspired me. And I told Cosmic Kev that, I was like, yo, listening to you and Ran is like, I kind of emulated my style like that, my scratching style and everything.
Yeah, like one thing I noticed about Philly DJs, when y'all are in your cutting zone, it's super, super fast.
Yeah, that's facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like I know a lot of cats rock like that.
Yeah.
So clearly that's a Philly thing.
That's definitely a Philly thing, yeah. Like I said, I emulated Kev and Rand. They used to cut fast. So what I would do is I treated it like, working out in the gym. So I would just be in my basement, annoying the hell out of my mom, just going crazy. And just so until my arms would hurt. Because I heard them do it. They were so perfect, on the radio, like no mistakes, and then I just would do it all night until
you got it.
My hands would just,
So you're right-handed.
Yes.
Right? So what's funny? I'm right-handed, but I cut with my left.
I've seen you do that.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't have any.
You and Cannon, y'all both got the way y'all transition is like an interesting style. But yeah, I've seen you do that.
It's wild. So all right, you're from a specific era in Philly. Like when you were in junior high, what give me what that looked like, what that sounded like to you.
Oh, that was you talking Chronic. No, that was high school. Hold up, let's go to Wu-Tang. No, that was high school. Tribe Called Quest. You mentioned earlier you was talking about Large Professor. So Main Source was one of my favorite groups then. Busta Rhymes and them Leaders of the New School.
Heavy.
EPMD. That was more elementary school. EPMD, Big Daddy Kane. That was kind of Big Daddy Kane. Early. That was like elementary, middle.
Okay.
That whole era. LL Cool J, like one of my favorite rappers of all time. Like that. Tribe Called Quest is probably like my favorite group in middle school. And then going into I remember Scenario Remix was like, they called it Scenario 2. I remember I was in 7th, 8th grade. And everybody before school was talking about, yo, you heard that new Scenario? And that was like the thing. That was the exclusive. You know what I mean? So those are kind of the, I can't remember. Oh, Dwick. Dwick. I think Dwick came out when I was in 8th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this real quick. Let's talk about the Philadelphia mixtape scene back in the day. What was that?
It's funny, man, because I started off not really paying attention to the mixtape scene. I was more like Radio Club.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I knew there was a couple mixtape stores like on Shelton Ave in Germantown, Sound of Market, Sound of Germantown. They had all those things going. The New York DJs kind of was doing their thing.
Okay.
The Clues had it on Smash. The Flexes, SNSs, all the New York,
DJs.
Jazzy Jeff and them, they had their stuff too. But when you a kid, because Kid Capri's, of course, when you a kid, because you seeing Kid Capri do Def Comedy Jam, like you like, well, what's his tape talking about?
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? But like in Philly, it was a big party scene. In my perspective, it was a big party club radio thing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like I didn't get into mixtapes until high school.
Okay, so let me ask you this: what was your first mixtape, or what's your first mixtape experience?
My first mixtape experience, probably in high school. There was this kid in my class, and he always put me on to like all the new hip hop stuff that was going on, and he used to just always pass me these Clue tapes. So to be honest with you, I think Clue was like the first mixtape DJ that I really paid attention to, and he just, oh yo, this new Clue, get that, you gotta get this, you gotta get this. I got this off of Shelton Ave, you gotta get this, da, da, da. And that's when I got into it. Like that's when I kind of was paying attention. I knew about the exclusives and everything,
right?
But my whole thing was parties.
Party in the radio.
Yeah, when I was 16, 17, 18, it was parties. Yeah.
Hey, so partying in Philly, high school in Philly.
Yeah.
Then you graduate.
Yeah.
And then you landed in Atlanta. What? Obviously, I know one of the reasons. What brought you to the A?
My mom, she went to Clark.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, my mom went to, well, back then it was Atlanta University.
Nice.
And in high school, I know what I was going to do. I knew I was doing my little thing. I was making my little money in high school as a DJ. I didn't know that I was going to be a full-time DJ or nothing, but you know, I thought I'd just get a career, go to college or whatever, figure it out. But my mom was like, you ain't staying in Philly. You not staying here. You not doing this. You know, I was, you know, my junior year, I kind of was, you know, doing things that a teenager would do, like just cutting school and doing dumb shit. Like, and, you know, but my senior year, I got it together. I got my grades better and stuff like that. And I went really hard at trying to apply to college. And then I was getting accepted by schools. I was like, damn, because my grades in high school was not it. But they were good enough. My SATs were good enough. And my mom took me to this college fair on City Line Avenue. And it was a recruiter from Clark. I can't remember his name. Robin something. I can't remember anyway. And she was just so into this Atlanta thing. My mom was into it. Like, she was like, Atlanta, because she lived there for 2 years or whatever. And she just felt like it was she wanted to complete it. So she was like, I guess she wanted me to complete her dream or whatever. So she was like, Atlanta. And, you know, you see how Atlanta kind of has a little buzz, like, you know, with the Freaknik and stuff like that. So you heard about that. You heard about all those things. So I was like, all right, you know what? My mom never led me wrong. I'm going to listen to her. I applied. And the recruiter was like, yo, you get hired in this on your SATs, I'm going to accept you, da-da-da-da. I did pretty good on my SATs. He accepted me. Okay. That was one of my first schools I got accepted to. So
where else did you apply?
Everywhere, man. Because I didn't know where I was going to go. You know, being
shooting a shot.
Basically, being in Philly, of course, I applied to Penn State. I didn't want to go to Temple. What else? All the HBCUs, Lincoln, Howard,
Cheney.
Hampton. I did Cheney, but I knew I didn't want to go to Cheney. I did it just to see I got accepted there. I did it just to see if I could do it. But my first choice was actually Hampton, because my family lived in Virginia. So I was like, and my older cousin went to Hampton. Hampton didn't accept me. I'm like, damn, how y'all ain't accept me? Then I was like, then I wanted to go to Howard. And then they ain't accept me. Then my third choice was Morgan. None of those schools accepted me.
Wow.
But Clark was like, yo, we got you. So I was like, all right, cool. So, and it ended up being one of my best decisions was going to Clark. Came down, and that was it.
Okay. Let me ask you this real quick. Your name, Trendsetter Sense, where'd that come from? Did that come in Philly or did that come in Atlanta?
Trendsetter came in Atlanta.
Okay.
Yep. I came in Atlanta. That was me and Dron playing around trying to have like names like, oh, I'm so-and-so this and I'm so-and-so that. And we was playing around and I don't know how I came up with it. It just was like, because I thought I was fly, I thought I was cool and all that. So I was like, oh, I'm a trendsetter, I'm ahead of the curve. And that's how I came. And then like my graffiti, I used to be heavy in it. I know Mars, you into that too. And I was heavy into that, and I could write the word trendsetter really good. So I was like, oh, I'm DJ Sense the Trendsetter. Like we was just playing around and stuff.
Coming up with joints. Yeah. So let me ask you this. You get to Atlanta. What year is your freshman year?
96.
96.
Ooh, Olympics was here in Atlanta.
Facts.
What is Atlanta like in 96?
Oh, that's funny, because the day I came down in high school to do a visit was Freaknik.
Oh,
that was the day I came down, and my parents was like, oh man, we was stuck in the traffic, we was stuck in like in the middle of the party. And I was like, oh, I'm good. We don't gotta go nowhere else. This ain't for me. Yeah, we good. 17. I'm good. This it right here.
Right here.
Yep.
Right here.
So
Freaknik 96, that was your first introduction.
Yeah, because it was like springtime. So, I was about to graduate. So that's when you start visiting schools and stuff.
Right.
So we planned a little trip. I went to Virginia State and Clark, because I came down to Virginia State and Clark. So we went to Virginia State. I was like, cool. But then when I came to Atlanta, I was like, nah, this is a wrap. That's what I'm doing.
right.
Now the ill thing is, Freaknik 96 was the weakest of them all, because that was the year of the Olympics. So really, that wasn't even in our mind. That wasn't even Freaknik. Like the cops had kind of like squashed it, because they didn't want this city to have a bad impression. They didn't want to give a bad impression to the rest of the world, because the global community was coming here for the Olympics. So I mean, you still caught it, but it wasn't what it was.
Yeah, see, you a Freaknik OG, Mars. Right. You know what I'm saying? You was probably doing some of the hottest clubs that was going on at that time.
Yeah, like yo, but you know, we asked a question because want to paint a picture for what you saw the scene like when you got here, and it's still a dope snapshot. It's not like it's not like it was dead.
Well, imagine being in the car with your parents and you got you got chicks getting out the car and thongs shaking their ass, and you just in the car with your parents. That's an awkward ass feeling. But I was in my mind, I'm like, nah, that's it. I'm here.
So so fall of '96 is freshman year, right?
Yeah.
Fall of '96 is freshman year for you. Obviously, you got your classes. Mm-hmm. What made you say, let me pay attention to what I could be as a DJ?
I didn't even know. Actually, man, I didn't know what I wanted to do, be honest with you. I knew I just had the passion for it. I had the love for it. And opportunities were presenting themselves, you know, and then actually linking with DJ Drama. I saw how serious he was. I was like, damn, dude, like really want to be like a big DJ. We only 18. And he was so serious. And then hanging out with him so much, like, I guess I picked up on the, like, wow, I could really do this for real. And then I started taking it real seriously. And then
is it still freshman year or?
Yeah. Yep.
So freshman year, 96, 97, y'all are doing college parties.
Yeah, I mean, we wasn't a crew. I knew he was from Philly, and somebody was like, yo, it's another DJ on the second floor of Brawley. And then he comes up.
You lived on the second floor, he did?
I lived on the third floor. He lived on the second floor.
You know what's crazy? Me and Trauma, same scenario, sort of.
Yeah.
I lived on the second floor. He lived on the fourth floor.
Hilarious.
Crazy.
Somebody must have told him it was another DJ in the building. So and my best friend Anwar was with me. He helped me move in and stuff. And then so Drama just knocks on my door like, yo, you a DJ? I'm like, yeah. You know how he is. Yo, you a DJ? So then I'm like, yeah. He just like gets on my tables and just battles me in my house, in my dorm room. I'm like, and my best friend looking at me like, you gonna let him come in here and do that? And then I did my thing. Luckily, my scratch I had my little scratches in my pocket, so you know what I mean. And he gave me the look like, "Oh, dude, all right." Like, and then we just going back and forth, and then you know, it was like a respect level was created, and then we became like friends. And then it's funny. We started, so we had a good chemistry. Like one time, somebody asked us to DJ, but on different occasions, like, yo, DJ Drama, you DJ, and then at this time, Sense, you DJ. But we wasn't a crew, but we killed it. So then I was like, yo, man, we should start doing this together. He was like, no, I'm doing my own thing right now. I'm just But then after a while, man, we started developing like a good chemistry, and then we just started doing parties together. Okay. And it worked.
Nice. So doing parties together, you're ingrained into the college system. So when do you guys start to get out into Atlanta?
The city, the club scene.
Well, you got something to do with that, Mars. When I started interning at that time, 97.5, and that kind of exposed me to like different parties outside of the college scene. And you know, I got with you and Trauma. Y'all gave me the opportunity to DJ on the radio with y'all. That was a big opportunity. And Biddy started, Mark Barnes, he started booking me a lot because he saw that I was doing my thing on the college scene. He saw, actually, Jashad Belcher,
yeah.
He was booking me a lot, and he was like, yo, I'm gonna make you the next, you know, he had like a plan that, you a star, So then he had me like open up for Funkmaster Flex when he came down and all this, and Biddy was coming to the college parties, and then Biddy was like, yo, I'm gonna get you to open up for Mars and them at the Velvet Room. And at the same time, I was interning at the station, so those doors kind of opened, and then that's how I kind of started doing parties outside of the college scene. It had a lot to do with interning at the station and Biddy.
Nice. So okay,
you Mars,
you graduated from the dorms in the clubs. When did you drop your first mixtape in Atlanta?
I had a tape called Sense and Sensitivity in college.
I remember that.
You remember that?
I remember, you know, it's funny. I remember it as Sense and Sensibilities. That's what I saw in my head.
It was. I can't even remember. It's Sense and something.
It was one of
sensibility. It's something like
that was it.
Okay, Sense and
So
Sensibility.
I'm not wrong.
I said sensitivity.
Okay.
Sense and Sensibility, yeah. And you know who gave me that name was Pablo, the owner of the mark. Pablo was like, you should call it Sense and Sensibility. Because back then, that's when I started doing all the parties at Karma then, but it was the mark.
With Jashai, yeah.
And then that's when Pablo was like, call it this. But I was only like a junior in college.
Dang, you was that young?
Yeah, I was young as hell.
Wow.
I was doing Velvet Room with you, and I had tests the next day.
Yo, I remember going, like you invited me, you graduated, right? What was it, 2000? Mm-hmm. And you invited me to your graduation party at Maggiano's with your family.
You went to that joint? Damn.
It was your family was there. Like,
damn.
So in my mind, I was like, okay, we rocking, but this dude's that much younger than me.
It's funny, man. I remember one time, like Mars used to take me like he was like big bro, like he'd take me on his missions and stuff. And then one day he was like, you ready to really be a part of something official? Mm-hmm. Today I'm gonna take you to something official. And it's like the first day he took me to like a Super Friends meeting. Oh. And like Trauma walks in, Frank Ski walks in, JC walks in, Doc walks in. I'm like, oh, I'm with the big boys. I was the greatest day of my life. Yo. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
He was like, I'm gonna bring you around the big boys now.
Damn, man. So we got clearly we got a lot of history.
Right.
I mean, we could talk for days.
Yeah.
Personal tips.
Yeah.
Mixtape. You know, I know Bril got a question. We was talking about it earlier. Oh, go ahead, Bril.
The first mixtape, you said it was Sensitivity.
Sense and Sensibility.
Sensibility, excuse me.
I fucked that up.
Now, what happened with the situation with Birthday Bash? You did a mixtape for Birthday Bash, you and Drama did, with Cersei sponsor or something like that?
Oh, that's how the first Gangsta Grillz was born.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
All right, so Cersei, another OG that like was really supporting and believing in. I was his intern. That's how I met Lil Jon. Makes sense. Right. So I was his intern answering his calls and everybody came in and he was watching my movement. He was watching what I was doing and he's watching that I had a crew, which was Drama and Cannon. And Cannon was doing his thing at college and Drama was doing his mixtape thing. So we had our little crew, but we ain't had no name or nothing. And I saw what Jelly and Monte were doing the Birthday Bash the year before. And they was just selling like hotcakes. I was like, so I went to Drum and I was like, man, we gotta do this next summer, man. Like Jelly and Monte is killing the mixtape scene. I mean, killing the vendors at Birthday Bash out of Lakewood. So you know, a year later, I'm still interning, but Cersei came to me and was like, yo, I'm gonna rent out one of them tents because I know y'all got y'all mixtapes and stuff, and y'all just put a whole bunch of mixtapes together. Here go the money. He just gave me this big ass wad of cash. Like here, I'm like, oh shit. So that's when I go to Drum. I'm like, yo, Cersei gave me all this money. Let's put these tapes together. You know, because at that time, that's when Drama was going to like Georgia State. So he already was kind of hustling doing that. So I was like, yo, here go opportunity. So then Drum was like, man, we gotta come up with a tape that like makes sense for Birthday Bash. You know, we in the South, da. And then that's when we just sat there and talked about like the tape. And then he was like, man, we need a name for it. Grillz, Gangsta Grillz. I said, that's it right there. And that's how the birth of Gangsta Grillz started, just like that. And it's funny because that was the best-selling tape at the Birthday Bash. The only thing is we didn't put our names or nothing on it. It was kind of like ashamed to put it out because it was like we didn't know if it was going to do nothing, so we didn't put our names on it or nothing. And it was Gangsta Grillz, ER. Wow. Yeah, and it was just a grill on it. some, funny New Face or somebody probably got that tape.
We had to take it
He
somewhere.
probably got the official copy of it.
Yeah, and that, and then I made Cersei money. I came back, Cersei, look, and that's how the tape got born.
Wow. Wow. So sounds like it was made by accident in a sense, right? Sort of.
It was, circumstances created the opportunity.
Gotcha.
Me and Drum did make a tape before that was actually like pre-Gangsta Grillz. It was called How the South Was Won.
I remember that.
Yeah, but it was really, that's what it was. But our names were on that one.
We're on that one.
Yeah. So that was pre-Gangsta Grillz. So it was really the same thing because we highlighted
Southern
artists.
Southern hip hop. So, all right. So you got the Gangsta Grillz popping off. I feel like when those tapes were the early ones when they were dropping, I felt like it was a team effort because I remember seeing all y'all's names on the tape.
Yes.
And kind of what I admired about that was like, even though at the end it ended up being Drama's series, I still remember the marketing amongst the three.
Yeah.
And that was like, to me, that was an admirable thing to do. DJs with peacocks with me, look at me.
Facts.
But to see, because I saw it happen in that series and I saw it happen in other series, you got name here at the top. One of the dope artists that y'all use, I would say you guys broke him, Rob Petroza.
Okay.
How did you find him or did Drama find him?
Drama found Rob. Drama Cannon found Rob.
Found Rob?
I don't know how the story came about, but he wasn't even the first art designer for the tapes. We had another guy, I can't even remember his name, so long ago. Rob was doing, I think Rob had a nice clientele. He was out of New York. It's funny because I still see, he's still on IG. We still talk to each other.
Yeah, we gonna get him on the show too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that was Drum discovered him. Drum discovered Rob, and he just started doing everybody's tapes, and they were just dope. It was just real dope artwork.
Like I felt like I remember Cannon. I'm gonna paraphrase what he said to me, but I remember Cannon kind of breaking down you guys' thought process in terms of marketing yourselves, making you guys the entities as big as the artists. Like from afar, I would sit and I'd be like, yo, that's crazy. Because you would open up the cover, so the cover would be dope, and then you open up the cover in a sense with a fresh sweatsuit, some Air Force Ones, you know what I'm saying, inside the cover looking just as fresh as the artist. So I felt like it was intentional.
It was.
Like in a great way
Yeah, it was.
to represent yourself.
Yeah, we got that from New York DJs. I ain't gonna act like we created that. We saw what Kid Capri and the DJs like that out of New York was doing, and putting themselves. We used to talk about it a lot, like putting yourselves next to the artist, like allowing, like your brand, the DJ is just as important as the artist in the marketing. And we were heavy on the marketing. That was, no matter what our resources were, how much money we had at the time, we were heavy on that. That was very important. It was, the covers was like the most important thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I feel like from the outside looking in, and I wasn't on the outside.
You was right there.
But on the outside looking in, I felt like that came from you. Like I felt like you were the marketing guy in that sense.
I had a lot of the ideas out of it. I can't take all the credit, but I had a lot of the ideas I had, a lot of the visions. A lot of people call me the brain and the vision. I can't take all the credit though. Cannon had a lot of that too.
Like, give me an example of something that you felt like you said, guys, we need to do X, Y, Z, and then it did it and it worked.
Oh, the whole plan. I said we were going to. The mixtapes going to be the biggest mixtapes in the game. The affiliates, myself and Ace McLeod created that. But it's just affiliates, Philly. That's why it's the PH,
Right.
the A. I saw the vision of it being like a really impactful force, as a DJ collective, and then growing into other opportunities. Just little things like that. The marketing stuff, I had to. That was all three of us. with the marketing thing. That was all three of us.
You know what I looked at? It was 1 year we were all in, maybe in Puerto Rico for Mix Show Power Summit, and y'all had the bags.
The bags.
With the affiliate.
The bags.
So this is what stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think Crystal Betts, Dr. Pepper at the time, she sponsored. Am I right?
Yeah, Dr. Pepper did sponsor that. Was that was Crystal?
That was Crystal.
Okay.
That was Crystal.
I remember I was drawing a blank right now. She was very involved in that. She worked at she drawing a blank on me right now. Trauma's homie. Puerto Rican girl. What's her name? She worked at Columbia.
Bianca. Yeah.
She had a lot to do with that.
Dope.
She had a lot to do with that. Bianca Mendez, right?
Mendez,
That's her name.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I remember she had a lot to do with that. Dr. Pepper thing, I do remember that. And that was something that we all, I don't know how, we just formulated it. We just wanted a presence. I came down to the Mix Show Power Summit before they did, and I saw the impact. Like I would see how everybody saw fit. Like it was like you knew 50 Cent was going to be the next biggest artist. You know what I'm saying? I was down there with you.
Yeah.
So you saw. So I was like, okay, if you see, like, we don't have the funds that Interscope or G Unit or Rockefeller or any of those companies had, but we had to do something creative. And you have all these tastemakers, DJs in one building. What can we do to create an impact for everybody to go home with? Because I saw how big the impact was networking wise. Like every time that I went down there, I was getting a whole bunch of phone calls and people were trying to make it happen, and it would lead to things. So I was like, okay, this next time we have to make an impact when we go back down there, and it'll help us moving forward. And it did. And then that was, so we had these bags. I don't even remember how the bags were made. I don't remember that part. But we had all these bags. We had a sponsor, and we put all the mixtapes and stuff in there. We made it like a gift bag, but we had that A, and it went from there.
So in terms of branding, because part of the genius of the affiliates is the branding.
That was everything.
You got other DJs, you got other artists, you got other entities, but again, to y'all's credit, the branding look. First of all, the big A.
Oh yeah, the A.
Precise did the logo, right?
Actually, Felix Mian did the logo. Wow. Felix Mian did the logo. So I think Precise did make a logo.
He did a version.
But he did a version, but Felix Mian made that logo.
So it's the big A on the shirt.
Yeah.
It's the big Jesus piece size A.
Yep.
On the chain.
Yeah.
And then it's the hottest tapes in the streets.
Right.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
I like the way you presented that. That sounds good. That sounds real good.
No, I mean it's the
facts.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
Like because clearly there was a separation between average DJs, and then at that time great DJs. And it's like, you know, you watch a basketball game and the Sixers is pulling away from the Knicks, and you know the Knicks aren't going to win. They're just pulling away. So the train is leaving the station, and cats are pulling away. And I study just like the three of us study. I'm looking at what is making that momentum move, and it's the marketing.
Yeah, that was the main piece. You know, it's so funny when you're doing it, you weren't looking for results. You were just doing it.
Right.
And you didn't even know if it was working or not, but the phone just kept ringing. The opportunity kept presenting itself. I think when I felt like it was really working is when like every label was calling us. Like, yo, we want y'all to do Gnarls Barkley. Yo, can you do Big Boy and Purple Ribbon? Or it was just when that happened, I was like, oh, okay, maybe we do got something going on.
Let's talk about this real quick. Let's talk about 532 Glen Iris Drive.
Yeah.
How important is that?
That was the beginning. I can tell you the story. Graduated college. Me and John was already doing our DJ thing. He lived up Adena Drive up Buckhead. Up what's the name of that street up there? Anyway, it was up Buckhead, Adena Drive. Where's it about I'm drawing a blank. Whatever that street is up there. Lindbergh. And he was moving out, so he calls me like, "Yo, I found this apartment. You want to get this apartment?" I ain't had nowhere to live. I just got out of school. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know if I was going back to Philly or coming back. I didn't know. So I was like, all right, let's look at it. Hole in the wall. I'm 22 years old. I don't care. That's where we live. And it was a struggle. We was trying to figure it out. And that's when I was interning and doing whatever party I could to make $1. Mm-hmm. And then when that whole mixtape thing established, like, artists was really coming through. Like, that shit was crazy to me. Like, the one, like, from Monica, Ludacris, Bone Crusher was the hottest rapper at the time, came through. Lil Jon, T.I. The story with T.I., like, T.I. comes through. Nobody knows who he is. So he come give some drops or whatever, and I'm like, Drum, what was that? Like, some dude said he was the king of the South.
Some dude.
Facts,
some
like
random dude.
Some dude talking about he the king of the South. It was T.I. The one that impressed me was when Monica came and did the very first Rhythm and Streets. Because she was already Monica. And, and then they talking about, we about to drop this record called So Gone. And we gonna put it through this mixtape and get it hot in the streets. And she came, her and Melinda came, her manager, and they just chilled at the crib in my dusty apartment all day.
Yo, hold on. Let me tell you, his room was always the dirtiest.
Oh man, damn.
Yeah, I told you we homeboys.
Damn, I thought that was pretty neat. Damn.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question too, real quick. The Lil Jon drop for Gangsta Grillz.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
That happened when Drum. I told Drum to come up to the station and meet Lil Jon because I was interning with Cersei.
Right.
Well, I just told him to come up to the station. Lil Jon just happened to be there. So then I was like, Drum, Lil Jon, Cersei, Lil Jon, Drum.
Right.
And then Drum polyed with him, told him to come through. He was like, yeah. So he came through and he hosted one of the Gangsta Grillz. I can't remember which one it was. Might have been like I don't know which one it was. One of the early ones. And he just did a drop. He's like, hey, this your boy Lil Jon, and this is Gangsta Grillz. So then Drum had he was making another tape, but he couldn't get a host. So he was like, all right, I'm going to just
reuse it.
I'm going to just chop this part up. And that's how it's the same drop to this day.
Wow.
That drop is like 20 years old. It's the same drop. And then he just chopped it up. It's Gangsta Grillz. It's the same drop. So that's how that happened.
So we're talking about Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm.
How important is Atlanta to the global mixtape scene?
Oh man, Atlanta is the scene. Being around the world and being in different countries and stuff like that when it comes to just the culture. Atlanta definitely leads the pack with that. Definitely, without a doubt. Just even till this day. And then I'll be in certain countries and like I go to Thailand or whatever and I talk to my man T, who's a big promoter out in Thailand, out in Bangkok. He's like, You trendsetter. we bring you back. We bring you back out here, trendsetter. And they just be it's big.
I don't know if I told you. I definitely told Cannon this. I was in Johannesburg sneaker shop, and I remember the whole scene. The sneaker store was on whatever street I was on. The sneaker store was on the left. I walk in, white sneaker store, kicks everywhere. Asher Roth mixtape is playing, and so I felt like
Asher Roth.
Right. I felt like
Scooter Braun.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like this is like one of those. I may have called him or texted him while I was in the store. Like it was one of those moments. Like, yo, these kids are on fire. Like it's one thing to be in Atlanta and have a tape popping off in Atlanta and move to New York, move to Chicago. I've been in South Africa.
Yeah.
And to hear y'all tapes in South Africa, like at a swanky sneaker store, and they're playing Asher Raw.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just playing a song from, no, they were playing the mixtape in the spot.
It just it takes a life of its own, man. I can remember one time when I knew that the mixtape was popping. We did a mixtape. Actually, we did Gangsta Grillz 6. Me and John, the Gangsta Grillz 6. I got Killer Mike to host it, and he got David Banner to host it, because at the time I was Killer Mike's DJ. And so they came through to all their things and all that. We had some exclusives on there and everything. And Get Rich or Die Trying was the biggest album out at the time. And we went in the flea market, the bootleg, right there on Metropolitan. Millions of Get Rich or Die Trying, right? Right next to it, millions of affiliate tapes right next to it. I said, damn.
Did y'all get any money for that?
Hell no. But yo, at that time we didn't care.
Yeah, I get it.
Because we
the
knew
promo.
because we knew he was getting spread out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, but you had your own series.
Yes.
Rhythm and Streets.
Rhythm and Streets.
Like, so Rhythm and Streets, Monica,
Yes.
Chris Brown.
Yep.
I mean, them Chris Brown, that joint was heavy.
In My Zone was crazy.
Yeah.
That was
So
huge.
how did you put that together?
I just start that one.
That was me and John combination. That one and we was like just do it together. Because it was a R&B, because it was Chris Brown, it was like, let's utilize the Rhythm and Streets brand. And that's how that, and we just did it, you know. And then I already knew what it was gonna be because it was Chris Brown, and then he was in that whole little thing with the Rihanna stuff and all of that. That was like the comeback. And then that No BS song was just so big, and then that John did something.
a tape like that, like, do you sit with Chris and you go through songs and
He
be
just
like,
sent
yo,
the records over.
he just sent them?
Yeah, he just emailed them over.
Got it.
And then we just jumped on top of them. But things have been different. Like the Monica, she sat there and did it with me all day. So yes, it depends. Sometimes I'll sit there with them, and sometimes they'll just send the records over. Like the K Michelle, she did the records, but I sat down with her a lot of times.
Okay.
And I brought the idea to her, and then she made the music strictly for me to put it together.
Right. Let me ask you this. I know you're known for the Gangsta Grillz, but why did you lean towards R&B and Rhythm and Streets? What made you start that?
I just wanted to establish a brand outside of something that was the same vision of Gangsta Grillz, but you know, I just saw the importance of what R&B did, and I wanted to just the only other mixtape DJ I saw do that was Ron G, and I was like, ooh, what if somebody like from that is the same effect coming out of Atlanta, even though I'm from Philly, but my home base is Atlanta. And then, at the time it was LaFace and, so many the Ushers and so many artists in Atlanta doing their thing. I was like, ooh, I want to, you know what I mean?
Tap into that
and
market.
then you see what happened is R&B parties and all this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I don't know. It still gravitates to me to this day.
Like, so with that series, I could definitely say that you probably inspired a lot of these R&B parties because because we know in Atlanta, we know who the promoters are,
right?
And they were of the age and they were around at that moment.
Yeah,
at the moment that movement was cooking. I know they still got them tapes. They still listen to them. I feel like from a mixtape standpoint, in that era, we're talking 2000s. You were probably the best R&B, best voice for R&B on a mixtape in terms of how you pushed it.
I appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because everyone was trying to emulate what Drum was doing, but for you, and I can say this because on the club DJ side, that's what I was doing. I was holding R&B down.
Yes, you definitely were.
When before it was cool,
right? So that's a fact. That's a fact.
Like,
very true.
Yeah.
Before it was cool. So I'm looking at all of that, and I'm looking at the tapes. I'm looking at the marketing. And I'm like, he's standing for something that at the time wasn't the thing to stand next to.
It definitely wasn't at the time. But that's my name. Trendsetter. You gotta stand on your own. Like it's you gotta do this. Sometimes people can't take it when ain't nobody feeling it. But I, it's just seeing ahead of the curve. You know.
So you got that. I know you got other classic. Give me another classic Sense tape.
Oh man, Ryan Leslie. Yeah, that one was fun.
Raheem Devine.
Raheem Devine.
I remember that one.
Raheem Devine. Shout out to Cat for that. Cat set that up. Who else? So many. I can't remember all of them, man.
Bobby V.
Damn, I forgot about that. Damn, see what I'm
He
saying?
did it. But hold on, let's backtrack though. Ryan Leslie.
Yeah. Ryan Leslie, that one was dope. Shout out Ace McLeod and his little brother Latif. I was working with Latif, who was a sound artist at Motown and a songwriter. That's how I met Sean Garrett as well. So when he would, and it's funny, Latif and Ryan on different occasions. No, one time they might have came. They used to come down and sleep on my couch. That same dusty apartment.
Wow.
They would sleep on my couch, songwriting. So then Latif was working with this other guy that was a songwriter. His name was Sean Garrett. And he was working at Bank of America. And he'll tell you that. And then they would come write all night and then just come and sleep on the couch. And that's how I met Sean. Was that way. And then I remember.
Did Sean have a record out at that moment?
He was in the mix, but he didn't have a hit. I saw him the day after he wrote because we had the same barber in Philly's Finest.
Philly Kier?
Yeah, we had the same barber. And he like, yo, Sense, man, I wrote this record, man. Come in the car. And he plays me, but it's over the P.D. Pablo beat. It's over the P.D. Pablo.
He plays him.
Over
his demoed version.
His demo is over.
P.D. Pablo.
Freakily. And it's funny because when I was tour managing John, I asked him about that. So I don't know. It's funny. I was having a story with him and a story with
What did John say about it?
He was like, he was trying to get get the beat back or whatever because Usher and them. They was moving slow on it. They wanted to put out Burn as the first single. L.A. Reid wanted to put out Burn as the first single. And then he called P.D. Pablo, and P.D. Pablo was like, nah, our money is already in the bank, da-da-da-da. And then he told me, rest in peace, Shakir Stewart, he told me they flew to Miami, and they was like, what we gonna do? How we gonna figure this out? And John was like, well, shit, I'm gonna just keep the same drum and just change the melody a little bit. If you notice, it's damn near the same song.
Right. Yeah.
So that's how that's how the beat came. And then he told me he took it to K Slade. K Slade's rest in peace. It was actually broke the record.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you another story about that record. So at that time, me and Jermaine was doing So Def Radio on V103, right?
Remember that.
And in the studio, it was. I'm saying this in sequence. It was me and Shakir, and it was Jermaine Dupri and DJ Chip. Someone didn't feel as strongly about that record. I'll just say that. I'll just say that. And the conversation was, if we play this song on the air and the phone lines don't light up, that record's not gonna make the album.
Damn.
Ooh. I don't know. But that's what was said. So they asked me about it. I was like, yo, the record is a go. Like, it's Luda, John, and Usher. Like, and everybody is at their apex at that time.
Right.
Usher's on fire. Luda's on fire. John is the fireman. Like, yo, we played that record. Phone, you know, the radio station, like the phone lines just like every lights in the hallway was lighting up because Atlanta was like, yo, this record is crazy.
Yeah.
So I remember, it's funny you talk about, you're telling it from your vantage point.
Yeah.
I remember that when we played it on So Def Radio, that record did not stop. Like them phone lines stay lit. Yeah. So it's Jermaine. So we're bringing it back. We're bringing it back. We probably played that record for 20 minutes. Like, and then now look where it is. It's probably one of John's.
It's the 13th biggest record ever made.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. Being on the road with John, you start knowing everything that goes on.
Yo, but hold on. So you threw this in real lightly. You said I road managed Lil Jon.
Yes.
Like, but you didn't. You just said it like like, yo, I got on some green sneakers.
Right.
Like, yo, come on, man. We talking about history. You got that's a story you got to tell. Bro.
Right.
Well, how I got it?
How you got it, the experience of it.
So shout out Amy Johnson, who's John's day-to-day, handles everything. And she was working at RCA, what's Polo Grounds. She was VP of Polo Grounds. And she was gonna bring me in as an A&R. So I was like dealing with her a whole lot. Then she ended up stopped working there, and it just never transpired. But we kept in touch. And then man, I was working on something else. I was making my records. We didn't even talk about my records and all that stuff. I was making my records. And she just calls me out of nowhere, and she's like, you want to road manage John? I was like, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Why not?
And then my very first, so she was like, all right, John about to call you. And I already knew John anyway, you know, just from the history. So John ain't never called me. Not at that time. When I was working with him, I heard him from every day. But my first show with him that I had to work was funny. It was in Monte Carlo. And it was the Grand Prix.
Wow.
Yeah, and so John is doing this show he was DJing this One Oak pop-up featuring you said what?
Out there.
Featuring Justin Bieber and Lewis Hamilton. And that's her first job. You gotta do that. Yep.
What is it like? Like what is you know what I mean? Like what is that experience like?
You know, but it's John. He's Lil Jon, so it's like you gotta what is it? Like they threw me in the fire. And I was like, which was a good thing. Like so like I just dealt with everything. Like I had to, you know, do the management stuff, like handle, you know, make sure everything is straight. You know, it wasn't hard. It's hard if you allow it to be hard. There's a lot going on. You gotta be responsible for a lot of things. But I just did it, and that was the first show. And then every show was like that. Like it was just
crazy.
You going from Monte Carlo to Japan to China. I've been to China 3 times. He's always in Mexico. He got a big fan base in Mexico, so he was always in Mexico. And you just setting him up. We probably did 3-4 shows a week. I was probably only home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
In and out.
Yeah, then back out. And it was a blur. I did that for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 years.
You probably passport 3 or 4?
3. Passport 3.
Yo, he says it so natural. Exactly.
Passport 3.
You're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, because I would see y'all moving around, and I'm like, yo, like, from, again, like, so my perception of you, aside from the DJ standpoint, like, I always felt like you were the brains of the operation.
Yeah, I've been called that.
So to see you in that position, I felt like, no pun intended, it made sense.
Facts.
Like, you know, you see somebody, you like, him?
We were supposed to do our agency together.
You said no.
At the time.
But it made sense.
Yeah.
Like it literally made sense. And in the DJ world, you want to be able to move around. Like we all know what it's like to be DJing in a club scene in Atlanta when it's not as bright as it should be, right? We know what that is. So to see you move in that space, like I was like, that's very dope.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
That's you said 2 years, that's probably 20 years worth of experience.
It was definitely you
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you know, John's very professional. You know, I mean, he, you know, people think he's this crazy dude, but he's very articulate and very, very, very smart. And he was just it was very meticulous, and he wanted all information, all details. You know, you had to make sure everything was right. He wanted to know everything that's going on from top to bottom. So it just had you on your P's and Q's, you know.
Was there ever a time you had to DJ a show for him?
Absolutely. A lot of times I had to do that.
So it went from booking a hotel, booking the flight, to yo, we got to hop on the stage?
Yes, absolutely.
Who was DJing for him at the time?
For him, me.
Oh, you was DJing for him, and like I was joking.
No, yeah, me.
No, wow.
On his performances?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was me.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's funny, like you gotta make sure the stage good, make sure all the business is straight.
Right.
And DJ.
And DJ.
For a multi-platinum artist.
At the time, and still the biggest artist of our time. Like John is, you know, I've seen him in Vegas with Usher. Crazy.
Yep.
So you're rocking and managing, you know, the guy who's literally the biggest. That has to be ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a crash course. I'm thankful, I did it because it's like could do anything. You
Right,
know what
exactly.
I mean? Like, yeah, so it was dope. It was definitely dope.
Sheesh. You had alluded to something earlier. You said we didn't talk about your records.
Oh. Yeah. It was really still an extension of the mixtapes. So if you notice, my songs sound like my mixtapes. Right. You know what I mean? Like even the song I had with T-Pain, Migos, RRP Takeoff, and K Camp. It had like a party up tempo R&B-ish type of vibe, but with a bunch of rappers.
You had the Monica joint too.
The Monica joint, yeah, that was my biggest selling record. That record went.
He looked like he was about to forget about it.
Right, exactly. I remember that record.
My brain, man. That record went 38 on the charts independently.
Sheesh.
Wow. Yeah.
So people watching this, they're hearing it, but just explain the process.
The process of that. I had all these beats. I already had the T-Pain record, and I already had the relationship with Monica and Melinda. You know that, and I was gonna get Kelly Rowland on the record.
Wow.
Because she was coming to the studio, coming to Mean Street, and her husband was coming to Mean Street. So I was talking to them, and I mentioned it, and but I bumped into Melinda at this event, and she was like, "Oh, what you working on?" I said, "Oh, I got this new record I'm about to do with Kelly Rowland." Da 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 da. And she was like, "What? Hold up, we about to work on something. Matter of fact, I want to hear what you got." I was like, all right. I mean, I ain't gonna, you know what I mean? Right. I was like, man, this is lightning in a bottle. So she came to the studio the next day. You know what I mean? She came to the studio the next day. I played all these beats, and it was this one song. Shout out Mika Mean, she wrote it. And Fat Boy, who did Wasted, produced it for Gucci. And she was like, hold up, bring that back. Nah, that's it right there. I'm about to call Mo right now. I was like, damn, all right. I didn't know it was gonna move this fast. So she was like, all right, boom. The next day, Melinda called me. She was like, Mo loves it. We're gonna record tonight. I'm like, what?
So she heard the demo version with Mika on
yes.
it? Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
she heard the demo, and then she was like, Mo loves it. We recording tonight. We gonna be a patchwork. Like, damn, all right.
Quick.
This is a story right here. So I was the funny thing, the song I had with T-Pain, Migos, and K Camp was originally supposed to be 2 Chainz and Yo Gotti. Wow. 2 Chainz, that's somebody else 2 Chainz, Titty Boy, that was somebody else that came to the apartment and nobody knew who he was too.
Wow. Right here in Old Fourth Ward.
Yeah, that was another one that came to the apartment when he was with DTP.
Right.
All right, fast forward. So I'm talking to Tech and 2 Chainz in the background. And they're like, well, let me hear Yo Gotti verse. Yo Gotti ain't do the verse yet. I'm like, oh, it's coming in. It ain't coming in yet. So you know, it kind of slow rolled the situation. I'm like, damn. So that's how I was like, all right, well, and then with T-Pain, because I did that mixtape with T-Pain. I forgot about that. So I did that mixtape, and then at the time, I'm jumping around, but I'm gonna get back. And Pain manager was like, what you need? I was like, let me get a verse. And then he was like, all right, let me work on it. So then 6 months later, I just got a hook with T-Pain. I lost my shit. I was like, oh, yeah. So
this T-Pain is prime.
Yeah. Well, this was, yeah, I mean, shit, that's T-Pain.
T-Pain, but at the time, he was everywhere.
It was 15?
Yeah.
15? Yeah, so I was like, oh shit, I got a Pain hook. Shout out my man Spins, he made the beat. And done deal on the track. So I was like, damn. And then, so that's how that story went. But fast forward back to Monica. So we in Patchwork. I felt like I was looking at watching Whitney Houston record. You know what I mean? Like, and she was just in there killing it. I'm like, damn. And remember I said I was trying to get Yo Gotti, right? On the other song. So I call my man over at Epic June, because he used to help me out with a lot of stuff. And it's funny. I almost had a Sierra mixtape. Almost had a Sierra mixtape. She called me. I was running around the track. And I know we short on time, I'll be quick. And she was like, hey, this is C. Just letting you know I'm rehearsing right now. And I'm gonna call you when I'm done. Next thing I know, the Body song come out. That song, and she never called me back with no mixtape. I was like, damn. I was excited, but anyway, fast forward. But so the reason why I tell you that is because June would try to make that happen, and he was like, man, I don't know, like this is when she was with Future and all of that. So and then he was EPing it. I was like, oh yeah, he probably got me out the way on that one. So, but anyway, I'm like, yo, so they like, yo, so then Monica does it, kills it. So it's a great day, right? I'm all excited. We in Patchwork. So then Melinda go, all right, who we gonna get on here? I'm like, I gotta figure it out. Well, we need somebody. It gotta be somebody right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I already know that tone.
Yeah, exactly.
I know it.
So she's like, Mo done laid 3 verses. I'm like, oh shit.
She gave you a song.
Yeah, she did. Yeah,
she didn't just come in.
Yeah, she did.
In 2-step. No, she gave you a joint.
Yeah, she did. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, so I called June. I'm like, yo, man, I gotta figure out how to get Gotti on there. He's like, matter of fact, Gotti in Patchwork right now. I'm like, huh? I'm in Patchwork. Man, he's like, yeah, he in the B room. I go to the B room. Gotti in there. Him and Mims. Shout out Mims. I'm like, yo, what's up? I said, yo, I knew he was gonna do it. Because Monica was already on it.
She was there.
I said, yo, I got Monica in the room on this song. Remember you said you was going to do this song with me. All right, I'll be over. All right. He'd come like 30 minutes later. Him and Mo chopping it up. He jump on there and do the verse. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking the song good. Melinda called me the next day. Yeah, since we need somebody else on there to make the song complete. I'm like, oh.
Another rapper?
Yeah, it's just like, we got to fill it in. Like, I'm like, oh. So, I'm like, damn. I get Rich. At the time, Rich Homie Quan is the hottest rapper.
Yeah.
I get Rich Homie Quan on there. He didn't deliver a good verse.
Oh.
Yeah. And Fly was all calling me like, yo, what's up with the song? I'm like, I was like, bro, I keep it real.
He kept 100 with him.
That joint was underwhelming, bro.
But Homie Quan had records. Like,
Right.
he had records.
I don't know, maybe it was the way to beat or something. Like, he just lukewarmed it. And this out of all due respect, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just lukewarmed it. And nobody was like, everybody, it just kind of deflated it. And then they was just like, I don't know, man, I don't know. Like, damn, I gotta do something.
Right.
I called Cannon. I'm like, yo, man, call Jeezy, bro. Because Cannon was like EPing his project or something. I said, bro, call Jeezy, man. See, you know what I mean? He was like, all right, I'm gonna talk to him. He called me back. He said, yo, Jeezy, he fuck with you, man. Day one, He said, he got you. I said, bet. And maybe like a week or two passed. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And then Melinda like,
I know she putting the pressure on me.
Man, did she put the pressure? It's funny. Melinda called me last night. Did she put the pressure? She was like, I don't know, since we gotta drop our records. This is when she's doing Just Right for me. We gotta drop our records. I don't know. I'm like, So, man, Cannon called me out of nowhere. Yo, check your email. I was like, yes. Check my email, and Jeezy killed that verse.
Bodied it.
Killed it. And I sent it to Melinda, and Mo and Melinda called me back. They was so hyped, but they bumped into Jeezy at a K Michelle concert. So, and he told her
that he was doing.
Yo, I just did sent song what you wanted, and then they was like, yo, where's it at? I sent it to him. Mo got so hyped, she redid the whole
joint.
She already killed it the first time.
And then
3
she
verses.
went back in.
She redid the whole song. And like really Whitney Houston did out. And then it was just like
boom.
yeah. And I gotta shout out to Melinda and Mario for that, because they really helped me with the rollout of it. They was like my managers on that song.
On
like,
that joint.
On that joint, like, yeah, like they set up, like we did.
They said at the after. I mean, the single release party. It was at
I did
Gold
that.
Room, right?
I did that.
Yeah.
Shout out to AG and Bachi for that. R.I.P. Mike. Yeah, I said. But Monica was like, "Yo, I do whatever you need as far as promo." So she did every radio joint with me. She was posting it crazy. I mean, I gained like 5,000 followers just on social media just because of
Marketing.
her posting it.
Marketing.
And we had a whole game plan of how we rolled the song out. We had everything, and then I did it through Empire. And that the opening week, I still got it. I had at that time Feeling Myself, Beyonce and Nicki Minaj came out the same night, and Classic Man.
Classic
Yeah.
Man.
Classic Man ended up going #1. Classic Man was like 37. I was 38. And Feeling Myself was 39.
Crazy.
The only thing was, it was all me.
Independent.
I ain't had no monster behind me.
Right.
So it didn't stay there that long.
Yeah. But
if I had a major behind, if I had marketing involved, that record could have been a top 10 record to me.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. Dope story, man. Dope stories.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, when we talking earlier, the ability to tell your story that people don't know.
Yeah.
That's what this platform.
I like that. Yeah. Appreciate it.
I mean, Rhythm and Streets, dope records.
Yeah.
That you produced, that you put together. Monica, all of that is history. It's mixtape history. It's Atlanta history. Most importantly, is your history. So, on that tip, my man.
Thank y'all, man. Man, there's so much other stuff that we could talk about, but I know we limited on time.
You know, you got the mixtapes. You got side A and side B.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You got side A and side B.
And hold on, let me just give you your flowers, Mars, because you were one of the pioneers in the city of Atlanta. One of the original party rockers. Me, Drum, and Cannon all looked up to you, man.
Thank you, man.
We used to see your flyers when we was in college. And we was like, we gotta be like this dude. You know what I'm saying? And then all the way up, like Monica's tour DJ, Ushered resident DJ, like all the events that you do traveling worldwide, man. Flowers to you, man.
Thank
and
you.
I'm so glad that y'all doing this. And shout to you, Bril.
Definitely.
Doing y'all thing, man. Love y'all, brother.
Clark Atlanta.
Yeah, you represent.
Yeah. So hold on, who's older? What is
Bril, my young boy.
Yeah, I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest.
Yo, man.
Real quick question.
Yeah.
Where you get the Trendsetter drop from? I know you're not gonna tell.
I can't let that.
Come on, man.
No. I could tell you how we came up with it. It was a day me and Cannon was like, yo, we need to come up with some drops. We wanted to be superheroes and all that kind of stuff. So,
because those drops are classic, dramatic.
Oh yeah,
Trendsetter.
Yeah. I just found something where this woman just says Trendsetter, and I just sped it up real fast.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can't give
Okay,
away
that's
that.
cool. That's cool.
I can't give away that secret.
Well, we're here, man. Y'all know what we're doing. You know who we are. The book, The Art Behind the Tape. You can buy it online at artbehindthetape.com.
There it is.
Go to, where can they get that Monica record?
iTunes, Spotify, all that good stuff. And and Trendsetters Podcast on deck, where it highlights like the Rhythm and Streets stuff as well.
Okay.
My Rhythm and Streets playlist, all platforms. Yeah, Trendsetter. Holla at me at Trendsetter Sense, IG, DJ Sense, Twitter, all that good stuff.
Go.
Art Behind the Tape. We out of here.
We out of here. Peace.
Hey.
Yep.
Mixtapes.
The classic mixtapes.
Doing the mixtape thing.
Let me drop a mixtape.
Oh, mixtape.
The mixtapes.
This is the Art Behind the Tape podcast. Hosted by
This DJ.
DJ Mars and Bril Ndiaye, covering the spectrum of the mixtape culture.